Good afternoon. Welcome to Luxury in Black. I'm your host, Sherry Tisdale. Our co host, Lonnie McQuarters, is still styling and profiling across the waters. He's in Paris now, has been in London and from the British Awards. Absolutely living his best life. I've posted several of his looks. He's been really on the scene and evolved in various events and then having a great time enjoying all the fashion and styles. So he's going to come back next week and will certainly be sharing with us all the tea, everything that he saw and experienced while he was in London and Paris. Absolutely cannot wait. And a tad bit jealous, but one of us has to do it. And so this time it was him. So kudos to Lonnie. We miss you. Can't wait for you to get back and praying safe travels. Hope everyone has been having a wonderful day. We are now into the third month of 2025. Cannot believe we are now in the month of March. So far, it's really been flying by. We've got so many things going on in this country and so many different vibes and feelings out there. Just praying everybody's strength and to look forward to doing things positive and what we can, actually what we can do affect what we can change. And so it is, I was listening to a podcast, The Breakfast Club, a little bit earlier today, and Pastor Jamal Bryant was on. And as many of you know, we've all been involved with supporting, all the movement that's going on with our government and removal of DEI and standing in unison on boycotting companies that are no longer showing interest or validating who we are as a people. And one in particular is Target. And I was listening to a comment that he was sharing today, on why Target, not just because there's Amazon and there's Bank of America. There are so many different other businesses out there that are also embracing and removing DEI that's greatly affecting business and particularly for African Americans. And one thing that I, like to just always encourage, that we're really paying attention, that we're choosing to be intentional. But one of the key things that he said today, and you've heard me state before, how much money, our influence, how much we really impact economy. And he was stating that we spend over $12 million a day at Target. That literally blew my mind. I was like, there's got to be some discrepancies in those numbers, but he was pulling, he said, from facts. And that just goes to, that's just with Target. That's not to say where we're spending our money in other areas, because as I've shared, we are the largest consumer in spending with $1.6 trillion just on luxury products. And I always encourage, for us to really hone in on our buying power, our power of our voice. And so if you're choosing to participate, really be intentional about why you're participating, but more importantly, where are you going to be spending your dollars? Be intentional of finding those spaces and places that support our Black entrepreneurs, because they're going to they need your business. We need to really show the power that we do have and really affect economy in a different way. As I shared last week, we have some great of alternatives. There's shopbet.com. There's shopblackeverything.com. There are different sites, there are different places that do carry a large assortment of Black products for your ease and use. You can certainly, find the creators that you enjoy supporting and go directly and support their direct sites. And so we can really make an impact, but it's, just not doing anything for a moment and then jump back in it and continue to do what we are accustomed to doing is really not making a difference. It's really not being impactful in a positive way that really affects any change because they'll give us, a few days off to not support and, let us cool down, so to speak. But, if they can count on that, we're going to jump right back and do what we've been doing and we're going to come back and it's going to be the same as usual. Let us get over it for a little bit. We have to have a different tone. We have to do something different. We really have to be intentional about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what we expect to gain out of it. We have a great show for you. A very special guest, dear friend of mine, mentor, colleague, Reverend Carmen Yanak, who I'm so excited to join this afternoon. We're going to be sharing, going over several of the very special editions we worked together on with ExcellStyle Magazine, particularly the issue with Oklahoma Women Who Rock, honoring 20 phenomenal women in Oklahoma, as well as Carmen sharing her story as she has gone on and be a tremendous, well-known motivational speaker on mental health and self-care. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. At Rubicon, we believe every meal should be an experience. Nestled in the heart of North Tulsa, we bring you bold flavors, locally sourced ingredients, and a dining atmosphere like no other. From our signature dishes to expertly crafted cocktails, every bite tells a story. Perfect for any occasion. Live music on Thursdays with house band Upscale Smoke. Rubicon is not just another smokehouse, it's a whole vibe. Join us at Rubicon, where taste meets tradition. Rubicon Restaurant, the Upscale Smoke experience. Good afternoon, Carmen.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? But yeah, how are you doing?
I am doing good. I am doing good. Ready for spring. I'm ready to spring forward. That's for sure. I'm
I know
over.
you're tired of being cold. I know you was
You
tired.
know that. I'm like, that is not my jam at all.
It is not. It is. It never has been. It is not.
And that has not changed. No, give me sun, beach, and I am in my happy place.
Oh man, I get it.
Hey, so how have you been? I know you've got a new grandbaby. Well, we both have new grandbabies, but you've got a new grandbaby.
I know. We're just getting started, so we're not in the same space as you and William, but we are excited. August made his debut and arrival. September 21st, 2024. Wow. And Lennox just had a birthday in January the 8th. So she just turned 2.
Oh, okay.
And you will love this. August is already a model.
Okay.
Just so you know, he's had his second photo shoot.
Okay.
His second photo shoot. They just dropped the collection. This time he is in a golf for spring. It is a golf collection.
I can't. Oh, I love it. I love it.
A golf collection and then a vintage truck collection. So it's the sleep suit and all the sleep wear and day wear as well.
Tell Taylor I absolutely am screaming. I love that so much. That is,
Look, they were on him. They were on her, like on her heads. Like, is he here yet? Is he here yet? Is he here yet? So he had his first photo shoot. I guess he was about a month or two, and he had his first photo shoot. So then they asked him back. So It's Kite Baby, so KYTE. So I'll send you pictures after this.
Oh,
But
that is
yes,
awesome. Oh,
yes,
I know. Well, he gets it honest from his lovey.
he gets it,
Fashion. Yes,
and we do
it's
love
in his blood.
we do love we that he has a history. There's a long history of fashionable people in his line. That is 100% accurate. That is for sure.
I love that. I love that. So excited, and I know it's nothing like being a grandparents, and I know you know that it is
It's
the
amazing.
best thing ever. And having kids is to get to them.
Listen, and you told me, and I am a believer. It is one of the most extraordinary joys of my life and of our life. We were talking to him last night, FaceTiming, and that's the other thing. Our parents didn't have that,
Right.
you
Right.
with their grandchildren, and until most recently, and we didn't have that with our grandparents. Listen, it was taking that finger and almost getting your finger broken trying to dial that number, right?
Right. And
And
then they don't even understand
they
about
don't
the
know anything
dial.
about
Like
that.
dial. What are you
They don't know
dialing?
anything about that. Yeah. So the fact that we can talk to not only our children but our grandchildren, FaceTime them on the phone and see new things that are happening with them, is such a joy, and it's so powerful.
It really is. That's when internet and all the technology to me is when it's at its best, those moments.
Yep.
Now, some of the other things, sometimes it's like, wow, it's too much, but it does serve a
Right.
purpose. And that
Absolutely.
is the
Absolutely.
best. Well, I was sharing earlier that, we certainly go so far back and have done so many amazing things together. But one thing that we did that was a real thing was when we did Oklahoma Women Who Rock. And I cannot believe, Carmen, it was 10 years ago.
Sherry, I'm telling you, I would not have even known that had you not contacted me. And when I saw it, I was like, whoa, 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 wait a minute.
Like what? It was yesterday.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm looking through not only us, but also all of this group of women. You know, uh, I listened to your mama's voice,
Oh,
and it just, I'm trying to hold it together, and
right,
I'm
right.
listening
Me
to her
too.
speak. I'm listening to her speak to these women, and we're standing in a space that she made possible.
Right,
Like
exactly.
there was so much history on that day. Specifically when we did the photo shoot, there was so much history on that, on Greenwood Avenue that day that we were curating, that has lasted even beyond like some of the women who are no longer here and
Right.
in this physical realm, but we made such an impact in the lives. And I just want you to know, right before I came on, I was talking to Allison, who was our keynote.
Oh my gosh, I love so much.
I was just talking to her, and she was like, whoa, wait a minute. What? She said, I'm going to have to go back and look at these pictures. And I was like, yes. I said, uh, I was so thankful for the reflection yesterday,
mm,
to go
hmm
back and reflect on that, on who I was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's still the same phenomenal person you are today. But okay,
And
yes.
certain that there's a lot of me that is the essence of who I am,
Mm-hmm.
is solid and has not shifted. But there's so many other things around me and inside within me that's not the same.
Right,
And I'm so grateful
right.
for it. I was grateful for that reflection yesterday, and being able to see, some things differently, and seeing other people differently. And, some of the people have moved away, and they're doing different
Yeah,
things than they were the time that, when we did that event, that gala. And, we had such overwhelming support. We filled that room.
we did. It
We
was absolutely.
Yeah, we filled
It
that.
was amazing.
We filled that room, and Tulsa and other parts of Oklahoma came out for that.
To celebrate, and
That
it
was,
was so diverse. And I
it
was
really
thinking of
was.
you, when we were putting together the list of women, and as you said, when I came across the video, and love and big shout out to William, finally
That's right.
focused,
That's right.
and Atoya. I mean, we just had a heck of a team,
Yep.
and and that how he captured all of that, because in the raw form, the laughter, the general camaraderie between the women. But when I was looking at, and like you said, seeing it differently, I was like amazed, and I said, wow, the diversity that was in that room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
Organically.
organically, because each one of those women represented their own community, right?
Yeah.
The fact that here we are in Women's Herstory Month, and in that group of women, we had the only two sitting mayors of this city of Tulsa. They were there
At the same, right.
at the same.
At the same time. Yeah.
These were women that we uplifted and talked about and share. I mean, so and you're right. I mean, there was, if you even want to go by faith, there was the diversity was so palpable in that room, from whether there were women who were there who were covered and wearing a hijab.
Right.
There were and the men who accompanied those women as well, their friend group. It was phenomenal. And I had friends who came in for the event, and
Right.
and our families were there. It was a an impactful and very poignant time um, in all of our stories.
Yes.
in,
Exactly.
in all of our stories, and I'm thankful that we were moved and guided to let and open up a space where the stories that matter the most in the lives of these women were told.
Absolutely. And, I was looking at that, and I thought, when we were putting it together, and, you're in terms of events and laying it out. And when you had said, okay, let's create a table, and they were seated, and I saw that so differently when I pulled that cover back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
said, all these phenomenal women seated at the table. And
And
we're always, now we're like trying to, like, we want to be seen, I just want to
yeah,
sit at the table. And I was like, and we did that
yep, yep. And
10 years ago.
and they were so excited to meet one another.
Right.
Like it was that, when I looked at the video, I'm looking at Cindy Morrison hanging on every word your mother was saying.
Yeah.
Like, just in all, like in her mouth, like, okay, no, a great is speaking. Let me be quiet. I don't
Mm.
have anything to say. She has, as the kids say, that she let her cook because she was cooking.
Yeah.
Right?
And I have to laugh at that, and when I found that video, it is priceless to me, because I said, that's my girl. Now, that's my
Yeah,
mom. That's the way. That's her right there. That was
100,
her.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
100%. And I had and we both had the opportunity to take pictures with our mothers on that day.
Yes.
And
Yes.
because my
And
mom
your
was
mom was there, and
there, she was there. She was there, and it's absolutely beautiful that we created this ripple.
yeah.
And I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was showing her Miss Maxine, and I was talking about her accomplishments. I said, but let me tell you who she is to me.
Mm.
And I told her, I said, I have a bracelet that she gave me. and a handwritten note
Yeah.
that I will keep for the rest of my life because she wrote it. And because she gave it to me as a thank you, because it was something for her birthday, and I wanted to share. I wanted to share in that moment with you and your family in celebrating her. And what an honor! What an extreme honor! I'm grateful for that moment. I was just looking at I was looking for pictures for something else and ran across the video that I took of her at one of the last Juneteenths that she was
Mm.
at, and she was getting it, baby. Baby, she was getting it. You know, she was dancing,
Oh,
and
funny. Oh,
I
yeah.
was loving it. She was getting it, and I loved that so much that she gave us that part of herself too. That when she was serious, she was going. It was 10 toes
Right.
down. She not when she was serious about it. You knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
When she was hot about something, you knew that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
Yes, that's,
yeah, because she get you straight. She's gonna get you straight with some words,
yeah. And,
now, with
and
some
very
words,
clear. Yeah.
and
She
very
didn't
clear,
mix word. Yes. Yeah. It was very clear.
and very clear. And then this fun loving side of her that I was just awestruck by, just in love with. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
the ability to move seamlessly between all of those spaces, that is herself.
And
And that is such a that was a huge awareness for me, watching her seamlessly move in and out of those spaces and not missing a beat on any of them, and all of it was her.
yeah, all of it.
All
And,
of
and when you say that, I'm thinking through each of the, that commonalities. And I could say several of those core strengths and attributes are in each of those women that were chosen.
it. Mm-hmm.
That they have,
Mm-hmm.
individually, when you look at them, and I was reflecting, looking at those, the things that many, including yourself, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. You really shared that your part of where life has taken you since that time, but I was saying that the majority of the women have continued to excel and continue to break glass
Absolutely.
ceilings. Or
Absolutely.
they, when you said not missing a beat, I mean they just continue. They have continued to soar,
Absolutely. I mean,
and that is so amazing to see. We had two that they did the ultimate soar. They transitioned to the place
absolutely.
we all want to
Yes.
be.
Yes.
My mom and then Cassandra Gaines.
Yes. Mama C.
Yes, but they left just such immeasurable footprints, that will last forever. And
No
I
doubt.
look at each of the women that were there, they're doing the same thing. They're still doing the same thing. Their
100, 100%.
stories are still being written.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But I
Yes.
want you to share with us because, as I said, that time we were doing the magazine, we closed it down about 2016. And, Reverend, you are motivational speaker, absolutely. Word I call my ultimate words. I mean, you have continued to really just step in your element. What were those that what was that shift for you that you just took really walked right into who you always have been.
You know, one of the things that I loved about that time was it I gave myself permission to open myself to my creative self
Mm.
and just let her go. And I learned so much about myself. I became so much aware. I was telling my friend yesterday that the way that, shout out, we said it, but shout out to William Edwards, AKA Finally Focus, our photographer, how he, my eye, when he would take pictures, and we when we were on set with different people, different places around the city that we did, we did our images for the magazine and fashion weeks and stuff. Like, I'm looking at these pictures of Jesse, who, when he came here for fashion week, and he has now, his star has risen so high.
Isn't that incredible?
And I just watched video of him at not only the Grammys, but also people wearing his stuff from his house, his collection, for the Academy Awards. People that he styled for the Academy Awards. That was just this past Sunday.
Exactly.
Like, mind-blowing things. And it took me into spaces and places of myself that I can trace back to little Carmen, when I was just in my room by myself sketching things, just allowing my imagination to just go without edit.
I love that.
And what this time did for me was to reconnect that part of myself, so that, because often as we're growing up, we start telling our little people, we start telling children, you need to stop doing that. That's what kids do. You need to stop doing that. And then we chastise them when they begin to respond as an adult when they're not an adult. Right. And so it reconnected me to that part of myself and allowed her to just be, and to shine, and to learn, and to unlearn, to not get it right. And like, okay, that's a world that you knew a lot about. I didn't. I was fascinated.
Right.
I didn't know. And so that's what it did for me. And so that was another, because I believe that in all these different decades and times and spaces of our lives, we have these launching pads, and it gives us momentum, and we ramp up to certain things. And so it kind of put some momentum behind me on expanding my world. And that expansion then allowed me to be open to what else I could expand into. And so that's literally what it did for me. And it also helped me to know that I could do hard things.
Yes.
It literally helped. I mean, it literally, like, here's something. I was telling my friend yesterday this. I said, just picture this. We had an idea of doing our Christmas, our holiday issue. The Maserati place out.
Come through. Yes.
The Maserati place was not even open.
Forgot about that. That's true.
It wasn't even open to the public. And I had this idea of a red Maserati. And with our girl Jill, shout out to Rustic Cuff.
Yes. Who also designed the bracelet for the Oklahoma Women Who Rock. OWR. Exactly. Yes.
She did. And she's sitting on the back with all of these Rustic Cuff, like that's her sleigh. And can I just say, we did SLAYED, slayed that. We did that. It was extraordinary. And so that imagination and creativity, and if I bounce it back to today, if you remember in my text yesterday, I said, this is good because you caught me in my resting season.
Right. I love that. And I said, I wanted you to expound on that. I was like, oh.
It's moving me into that right now because what I know for sure, and I said it in my live to get people to come into this space today, is that what I know for sure is you cannot have the full access to your imagination, innovation, creativity, curating new spaces and new ideas and the nuances behind those unless you rest.
Mm.
And we think because most of us, most humans, we get an idea, and before the idea has literally cooked all the way through, we take a gooey, uncooked idea out into the world and it's not ready.
That part.
Right?
That
And
part
so
that is so good.
And so I don't feel the need, like you don't even know this. I sold my medical dispensary in December before I turned 60.
Oh my gosh.
And
No.
it is the best thing that I did for myself. And I began to move into this space of, oh, it's time. It's time to rest. My mama's here. Hey, mama. So I needed to move myself because we get into this rhythm of go, 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 go. And I am convinced that we didn't get all of the awarenesses that were available for us in 2020. 2020, the world was brought to stop.
Yes.
Do not go any further. This far and no further. And so we didn't get because we were so restless. When can I go? When can I leave? When can I get up? When can I get out?
Exactly.
That we didn't pause long enough to get all the things that were all of the downloads that were coming. And so once
That's good. Yeah.
once we got the green light to go, well, everybody just started going, running and bumping into each other. And then it created a different kind of chaos. And we're living inside of it right now. I say all the time, outside is overrated.
It is.
Outside is overrated. It's like, when is the last time you were alone with your thoughts and you did not feel guilty? When was the last time you took a nap and you didn't feel guilty, that the whole time your body was lying there, there wasn't a constant thought pattern of this, you being lazy, you need to get up and do something, and a barrage of thoughts that spoke to us about do and being productive.
Wow. And it's like, why is that? Because that's so true. I mean, the guilt part.
Yes, because and because of the month that we're in, that is signaling and signifying Women's Herstory Month. I started reading. This book came out in 21. And a community that I belong to, shout out to Pink Robe Chronicles, the Reverend Dr. Melva L. Sampson brought this author on to the live one Sunday morning, and I think she was on one or two times. And the name of the book is Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto by Tricia Hersey. During the pandemic, most people know her as the NAP Bishop, NAP, NAP Bishop.
Okay.
And she was talking to us about rest then, and people weren't listening. People weren't listening. And so then we kept going. And then there was another book. This is what I study, by Ebony Janice, all one name. All the Black Girls Are Activists, a fourth wave womanist pursuit of dreams as radical resistant. And Tricia Hersey has a new book out. It came out last year called We Will Rest, The Art of Escape. And I wanted to read something.
Wow, I love that. The Art of Escape. Okay.
I wanted to read something because what she talks about is grind culture. This is why you ask the question, why do we feel guilty? Because we're very attached to grind culture. I'm on my grind. So this is I want to read this.
And that's so real. That was like instilled in me. You got to be on your grind.
Grind.
So that part when I say feeling guilty when I'm not.
Exactly.
Resting is like not even an option.
That's it. It is an option, but we don't. It has been sold to us as though it is not an option. And I'll tell you that particularly in this country where enslaved people were worked from sun up to sundown. We had babies in the field. We nursed our children in the field. We died in the field. And what did they do? Carried us off and put somebody else in our place.
Immediately.
That's the grind. That is the grind. And also attached to that grind culture, I'm going to say something that I know will be controversial, but it can become transformational if we'll hear it. The grind culture also leads to this thing called Black excellence. Black excellence, it did not come from Black people. Black excellence came from those who enslaved us and those beyond their lineage, preaching about how we were less than. So then we felt like let's see if you've heard this before. We got to be 10 times as good, twice as good as someone who doesn't look like us. Not only did we hear it growing up, but we told that to our children.
Absolutely.
So, which is why today, as I was reading on Threads yesterday, when a Black mother is celebrating her child who's made a decision to go to community college, let me say it a different way, because I don't want to be dismissive or lessen what that child did. When a Black mother says, I am celebrating my daughter who got into 4-year universities. These are the grades that she has. I think she had a 3.8 or 4.0 GPA, and she has chosen to go to community college first, get all of her basic things out of the way, then transfer. And the amount of vitriol that came from other Black women about this Black baby who made a decision not to jump off into these children who are graduating right now. They spent 2 years, almost 2 years without socialization with their friends because of the pandemic. Right. And so now we want to throw them out to a campus with 40,000, 50,000 people on it and say, go and conquer.
Exactly.
And so it's
exactly.
We can shift from Black excellence to Black diligence because we've always been excellent. Always been excellent. We've always been excellent. always been excellent. Even when we were out there in those fields, even when little white children were sucking from our breasts that we did not give birth to, we were always excellent. We're some of the most innovative people on the planet. How do I know? Because people always try to steal. They always try to steal what we do.
And
From our language to how we wear our hair, to our dress, to our makeup, to our music, to our preaching style. Come on.
everything.
Everything.
And everything.
So I'm going to go back to this one excerpt. This is We Will Rest, The Art of Escape, page 89. The author is Tricia Hersey. Grind culture has stolen our imagination. Our thinking is limited because we are deeply disconnected, exhausted, and sleep deprived. We don't believe we are worthy of anything unless we burn ourselves out to accomplish it. Focus on the escape. Focus on the transformation. You can be free. You are free.
Wow.
Let me read this. I got something to say. I got words that want to bounce around my mouth. I got secrets and truths and freedom things to scream. I get beautiful, smack you upside your head words to throw. I want to cuddle. That's not the one I wanted to read. It was another one. This is the one I wanted to read. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to your tenderness. Hold on to your hopes. Hold on to rest. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on to this book. Hold on to your dancing. Hold on to your body. Hold on to your neighbor. Hold on to the heaven inside. In a culture like ours, built on grinding and capitalism, it is a scary proposition to slow down. In your slowing down, you will only gain a sense of peace, justice, and liberation to reclaim time. And
that's absolutely powerful. And it is, and hearing that, because it's like that's so opposite of everything that's been ingrained in us,
everything.
to have to relearn how to make that shift, And one of the things I want to say that I hold on to, you giving me that T-shirt. Oh gosh, I guess I don't know how many years ago, but this I'm unapologetic.
Yes, the B shirt.
Yes. Yeah. And be intentional, but those things, really owning that. And when you, give yourself that space, because I've loved so much. And when I listen to you speak and things that you share, because those are things that we absolutely don't do. And when I'm listening to you and I'm like, we were talking about mental health which is certainly, but everything that's going on is such a big issue. But it's listening to this, it's like these are small things that, real tangible things that we can do and learn to do that could be life altering, but we don't apply it. We don't do that. It's the simple things like just simply sitting down and being still.
And it's building an environment. And sometimes it's put it on a timer. For the next 5 minutes. I'm not going to go to sleep. I just want to lay down wherever your comfortable place is. Sometimes for people, they've got a recliner chair that they love, or they have, their favorite part of the sofa, or it's in their bed, wherever that is. Taking that moment, everybody has a smartphone now. Pretty much everybody does.
Yes.
I don't care if it's a Cricket. Everybody got one, right? So put it on a timer and just for 5 minutes, I'm going to be still and I'm going to allow myself. I know the thoughts are going to come. I'm going to let them come and then let them go. Let them come, let them go. And I'm just going to be still.
I
And
love that because, and that's a challenge for me. That's a good challenge for me. Learning how to just that it's okay to be
and
still.
yeah, and it's what do we when we're being still and writing that down, when I am still, what message what am I telling myself? What am I speaking back to myself? If I'm still, does that make me lazy?
Hmm.
No, it doesn't. If am I being still? I'm unproductive. And what have I made non productivity mean? What have I made that mean? If I'm not coming up with a new idea every 5 minutes and writing it down, if I don't do that, what have I made
Mm.
that mean? And we have become so connected, and it's not just out in the world, because I know a lot of churches we talk about out there in the world, but your church be making folk be on that grind too, because
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
11 meetings to go to, a meeting about the meeting about the other meeting,
exactly.
right? And so
Exhausted.
when yes, and here's the thing, we have made exhaustion a reward. We
Mm.
reward exhaustion.
That's really
And
good because that's so true.
we reward exhaustion. And here, how do I know that? Because when someone that we love and we care about, who has given their life in service and has done all of these things, and let's just say they die prematurely to us,
Hmm.
right? They
Hmm.
die prematurely. We reward that by saying they gave their all. They gave their all, and we rewarded. We talk about all their accomplishments. We'll spend 4 or 5 hours in a service talking about all of their accomplishments, and all these people keep coming through. And that's how I know people don't have space to be, because when we say we're tired, what you tired of? And listen, our people are good for saying things like, I'll rest when I'm dead. What? That could
Well,
be
is
tomorrow.
that really?
And so
And we hear that all the time.
like you think you saying something. You sound dumb
Yes.
now. You sound dumb saying that. Like you don't sound intelligent saying that. Because, and let me tell you, for myself, for my birthday month last December, I began to tell myself I am vacating the seat of being the resource for everybody.
That deserves claps. Oh my God. You can say
Miss,
that. That should be a t shirt, as they say. That right there.
Auntie Maxine Waters told us, I'm reclaiming my time. I began to reclaim my time. And let me tell you what happened next. That was December. I was guided. This is such a huge piece. And I hope people will hear this as they hear this recording later and listen to it later. I was guided to go and get a physical. And I said, I was feeling that very, very strongly. So I did it. I listened and I did it. I also knew that when I got the physical, they would do blood work. I was like, there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but I didn't feel the pressure of the something, the unknown. I felt the push to make the appointment. I did that. My appointment was February the 9th. The very next day, I did the blood work. The very next day, I was waiting for the results of the blood work. But that morning when I woke up, I was very clear about what was going on, and I heard it.
Hmm.
And I started rolling back symptoms, and I was like, whoa, that's what this is. So the blood work came back. Everything was great except for this one thing. my A1C was elevated. Not high, but
Mm-hmm.
high enough to where they had to put me on medication. Now, what is true about that is I remember someone said to me, oh, well, you can take care of that like by eating or, in the kitchen or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I knew that wasn't all that it was. It was being in that seat as the resource for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Family, friends, community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And much of it I volunteered for. I want everybody to hear me well. It was not assignments because especially spiritual folk, church folk, believers will make what they're doing into an assignment to justify their involvement. I said a whole word right there.
That's a whole message right there.
That's to justify their involvement. And so I began to feel it. And so I became keenly aware, had I still been busy, had I still been going, running, as my grandmama used to say, my nana used to say, ripping and running up and down the highway, had I still been doing that, I could have had an episode and I would not, and folks would have said that came out of left field. It did not come out of left field.
Right there.
It did not come out of left field. It is a compilation, a pileup of several decades of being involved and busy and doing things that perhaps I should have said no to. But then I had to examine, this is the thing. This is going to help somebody. I had to examine my attachments. Why was I still attached to it? How was Carmen personally benefiting from the attachment? How was I personally benefiting from being the go-to? From my phone ringing all the time.
Mm. Wow.
And nobody asking me, well, Carmen, how are you really doing? How are you doing? No, really.
And
And
sincerely.
right. And
Sincerely asking. Yeah.
sincerely
Yeah.
asking. And so that's how we get into these silent killers. I was being so busy, I wasn't paying attention to the symptoms that I know what they are. I know what they are.
That's so good.
And even in my intelligence and my brilliance, it was bypassing me because I had no space. The pace I was at had no space, no pause. Sometimes we just need to pause. We don't even need a full rest. We need to pause.
Yeah.
And we don't even do that. So there was no space for me because some of the symptoms, listen, it was happening, but I didn't know what it was because I'd never had that before. And it wouldn't be all the time. So, what do we say? Out of sight, out of mind. Well,
right. This too will pass.
When I go to the doctor, because when your A1C, for those people who have to, who are managing and navigating that journey, when your A1C is elevated, it also elevates your blood pressure. I know that. I know that intellectually. I know that. I'm a science girl. I know that. However, I didn't know what high blood pressure felt like in my body.
Right.
That's a distinction. I was feeling certain things, but I didn't know that's what it was.
Right.
I get to the doctor and I'm looking at this blood. I said, girl, this is wrong. My blood pressure doesn't look like this. She said, okay, we'll take it. They took it 3 times. And so what it said to me, how long was I living unaware and how much higher had my blood pressure been unaware? That's how people drop dead.
Right.
And
Right.
I was like, it ain't gonna be me. So my whole point, my whole reference around that is resting is not just so that you can rest so you can get up and be more productive. Mm-mm. This is the first thing that I have done since November.
Wow.
I have said no to everything.
Oh
I've
my gosh. Okay.
I've said no to everything. And after I do this, I may not do anything for the next 3 months. And let me just say this, I don't feel compelled to.
Right.
Because here's what I know for sure. We will quote all kinds of scriptures, but we don't believe it. We'll say things like, well, if he takes care of the
Mhm.
birds of the air, he takes care of the lily of the field. That's what the book says. But we don't
Yes.
believe that. We feel like, oh no, I know that, but let me get out here and make a way.
Yes.
Let
Every
me get out
time.
here. Let me get out here and grind and pull these bands in. Let me get out here and do it.
Every time.
I Everything that I have needed, really, God's hand has provided. Somebody asked me, well, are you going back into corporate America? I said, if you see me back in corporate America, you will know that something very, very bad has gone wrong. It is something that is really, really wrong with me. I said, no, I'm being still. The next assignment that aligns with why I came here in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of this stuff has to get out of us, Sherry, so that we can have space to as my friend Dr. Jamie Eady says, member. What does that mean? We have to remember, is sacred memory. We have to remember why we came here in the first place. Grind culture steals that from us.
Mm-hmm.
Grind culture takes that from us, and it makes us think that if we got to do this so that we can get the next bag. We got to do this so we can get the next vehicle. We got to do this so we can get the next this, that, and the third. And we are literally driving ourselves into the ground. And then we don't even really get a chance to enjoy it. I want to enjoy life. Lennox in August just got here.
Yes. And you want to enjoy every bit.
I want to enjoy
Every bit. Yeah.
I want to, and there's more to just, like going to the mall or going to go. It's more to life. And, you mentioned self-care. Self-care is more than going to get your nails done.
Mm-hmm.
Because when's the last time you cared for your heart?
Wow. Can't even answer that.
When's
That's
the
what's
last time?
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, when's the last time we cared for our minds? You talked about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time we uncluttered all these chambers in our heart where we're holding stuff and holding folk hostage inside of them chambers? They gone. They don't even remember what you was talking. What happened?
Yeah.
You can't, and you don't even remember it. We don't even remember it accurately.
We just know something happened, and
Right.
I'm not over it.
And I'm
But we
not.
can't articulate what we're not over.
And
So
we're
true.
Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, when's the last time we added care to our rest? When was the last time we said, I don't care what was happening, whatever the news show is, I'm not gonna watch that right now. When's the last time we turned the TV off?
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time we added care to what's on our plate? When's the last time we added care to when's the last time we slowed down? We grown people on here. So when's the last time we slowed down in our sex life? We rushing through everything.
Oh, everything.
Rushing through everything. When's the last time we added care to? I was listening to Maya Angelou talk about this. She said, I love to wear the things that fit right on me because I wanted to see the way my body moved in that.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
When was the last time we actually stood in the mirror and added care to our body? Because when we're getting these downloads of, hey, slow down, it comes to our mind first. We don't listen to that. Hey, Sherry, hey, don't take that call. Hey, you don't, that meeting, not right now. And we're saying, but I have to, because if I don't take this meeting, I'm not going to get this. We're always somewhere other than right now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so that is what I am doing. I spend time sitting, talking, asking questions of me, not anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I read, I study, I wait, I take a nap, and I feel zero guilt.
I absolutely love that. And I hate that we have to bring it to an end. And I know you said you may go into a period of I know you will, of rest, but I'm like, I got to get her back because we got to continue this.
I will do a part two. I will do a part two for
Okay,
you.
well, we're going to close out the end of this month. We're going to put a date on it. The last Thursday of this month.
Okay.
We got to end it, yes, because this is so rich. This is so good. And
thank you so much.
The application is just so imperative, and we need to hear this. And it's not complicated. And that's what I'm hearing. I'm like, wow, it's so real, but how we complicate life, and it doesn't have to be. But nobody's actually really said some of the key that it's just really small intentional changes that could be very life altering for all of us.
And I am working on something. I'm not going to talk about it,
okay.
but I am working on something that is going to be helpful. And I am sitting with when that time is to release that. What I do know that it is going to radically shift, and I'm going to tell you it's going to be very specifically for Black women women of women of color, because the rest that Trisha Hersey is talking about is rest from this onslaught of dismissiveness from other women that don't look like us, other folk that don't look like us. And we have to be still enough so that stuff can get off of our physical bodies, because everything is not about, as I stated, everything is not about what we're eating. It is inclusive of that, but it's not only about that. And you can't gym the weight, the inner weight. You can't gym that away.
Right.
Yeah. You can't gym that away. So there's work, there is inner work to be done. And part of that really does come from resting. I want to thank you for this platform. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the reminiscing. Thank you for the reflection of what we created 10 years ago. Thank you for inviting me into this space and with your audience, and to the audience, it is my deepest prayer and my deepest hope that you would see yourself fully, and that you would you would risk not going to the next thing. You would risk the FOMO. You would risk not knowing what's happening at the thing down the road. You would risk not being at the party that you got invited to, that everybody's going to be at, that you would risk that in order to know you in a full and be diligent about knowing who you are, as very specifically as a woman, knowing all parts of yourself and how you are an unrepeatable miracle that said yes to come through this portal we call life on this side, through the parents that you came through, no matter what the situation was. You came, and now that you're here, part of the role is to remember why you came.
That is so powerful, because many of us can't even begin to answer that, because we've never taken the time to stop to really just, one, ask ourselves that question to even know there's an answer to it.
Yes. Yes.
Well, as I said, I hate to close it, but I'm going to have to bring it to a close.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
Do know that we're going to bring Reverend, I'm going to say Dr. Carmen Yanak back on the Thursday. We're going to pick this up, part 2, because I hope, if you're not taking notes, I am, but we're going to definitely, we need to get the fullness of this, and I am so appreciative and thankful, one, that you came and shared. I am so blessed, because I didn't know that you were in the season that you were in, and you were not speaking at all, really speaking at all, but that you took the time and gave us the time to share, and in the impartation that is certainly taking place. I'm going to utilize, I encourage others to do so, but mark your calendars for March the 27th at 12 p.m. We will come back with part 2.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, and love you dearly.
I love you dearly.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.